Hi all, I hope you are all very well. I'm sorry for not posting last week. I have been so stressed out about the election, and then the results of the election, and then like being only 1 month away from college. I'm super fucking busy and I have like multiple 10-page papers to write, and also trying to apply to like all these fucking jobs that no one ever gets back to me. I just wanted to say, hey, and I hope you're all doing better than I am. But yeah, I was planning on making a video kind of like shitting on, but also appreciating Manhattan. I know that New York City, and specifically Manhattan, is often very romanticized, and I personally wouldn't want to live in Manhattan, I don't think, and this video will tell you why. So this video is actually footage from a few different days that I spent in Manhattan. So for the first, Julia and I drove into Manhattan to meet Carson for dinner, and it was so beautiful driving in the sunset, just to see like the water and the city like glistening in the sky and blah blah blah. I don't know, it was just really nice, and I'm so lucky to have access to a car in the city. Julia has a car. Obviously most people don't have that because firstly it's expensive, but also it's just not really doable to like find parking if you don't live in Brooklyn. Sometimes it allows for some really great footage, so very grateful to have that car. There's also something about just driving around the city and being surrounded by such large buildings and kind of moving fast that feels grand. I couldn't help but just look up and marvel at the power of humans. Like, how did we build these crazy large structures? It is crazy. What a time to be alive. Even if we're destroying the planet, at least we have skyscrapers. But like, actually really, like, I do appreciate and find the grand scale of New York's buildings really incredible. Like, what a time to be alive. Despite everything that's going on that's fucking shitty, very grateful to be alive in this time. Lots of cool things we can do and see that many other people couldn't. Not only because they hadn't been invented yet, but also because people fucking died at like age 3. Anyway, then we went to dinner with Carson at this Japanese restaurant called Tomi Jazz, where they play jazz while you eat Japanese food. Imagine that. It was really good, but the best thing was this thing called the honey toast. It was this dessert. It was so fucking good. I want to go back just for it. It was like this sweet bread with ice cream and strawberries, and it was just divine. Like, it was so good, and the vibe was right.
Isn't that crazy?
Then I got to have my little perks of being a wallflower driving tunnel moment. Time for day 2, I went back to Manhattan, but this time I went to Central Park with my friend Liv and her roommate and friends. Central Park really is amazing. It's probably my favorite thing about Manhattan is just how big the park is. It's kind of hard to comprehend how huge it is. It actually takes up 6% of Manhattan's land area, like the entire island. It's 6% of it, which is just insane. There's tons of open space, really cool structures and fountains and ponds. Yes, I got it.
Yes, bro. Find the light. Find the light.
And also just such good people watching. Like, there is always something going down in the park, which I really appreciate. And also just like, if you live in Manhattan, like, you need a huge park like that, because being surrounded by so many buildings all the time, some people like it. I would definitely need to be spending some good amount of time in the park if I lived in Manhattan. I also got to have my Lizzie McGuire Rome fountain moment in Central Park, which I would do that every day if I lived there. And then I just walked around the Columbus Circle area a bit, kind of just marveling at the large buildings once again. One of the things that I really do admire about Manhattan is how small it makes me feel. And I know that sounds weird. When I was considering moving to New York when I was like a senior in high school, I didn't really want to move to New York because I felt so small. Like the buildings were so huge and I felt just like, you know, a number and not like my own human being of importance. But as I have gotten older, I actually quite enjoy my smallness a lot. I often feel like what is going on in my life is like of supreme importance, and you know, my world is so important, but in reality, like I'm just one of so many people, one of so many plants and animals, and like honestly, it's comforting for me to remember sometimes that my problems that seem so huge are honestly insignificant on the grand scale, and whatever will be. My life will come and go, and that's that. It just makes everything less significant, and you can kind of just do what you want to do more, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's something nice about not feeling important, and I think Manhattan sometimes makes me feel that way because of my smallness. But anyway, then we went home once again. Okay, time for day 3 in Manhattan, and this was with my good pal Carson. Our first stop was the West Village, and for obvious reasons, we had to stop at Gay Street. You can see here we are posing with Gay. This way. Yep, and down a little more. Down, 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 and a little further this way. Got it. Interestingly enough, we also were on Waverly Place, and if you have seen my first New York City video, you will remember that we talked about going to Waverly Place and looking for the sandwich shop from Wizards of Waverly Place. Do a report on the book you never read. If a snap of your fingers, you can make it bend.
That's a New York moment. We are close to Waverly Place. We're not close at all, but we're here.
Is that the next part of this video?
I think there might be a sandwich shop on Waverly that is what they have based it on.
Unfortunately, no such shop exists. We also stopped by the Stonewall Inn, an iconic place in queer history. Much love to Marsha P. Johnson. She was a queen and a catalyst for gay rights. Then we walked to Washington Square Park, where we pretended to be NYU students and had a little fun, silly time leaning on the arch and people watching again. There's lots of good people watching. Also, there's a lot of good chess players there. I've been playing chess recently, but I'm nowhere near as good as these people are.
No pitches, please.
And then we moved on to Cafe Reggio, the first cafe in the US to serve cappuccino, which is really interesting, and we discussed the Waverly Place drama.
But if they owned that sandwich shop in the 80s.
Maybe. When do we think that sub sandwiches were popularized?
Maybe the 40s, my guess.
Whoa. You think people ate with their hands? And ate cannolis. And honestly, I'm gonna say it, the cannolis kind of flopped. Why isn't it funky? I used to live in Boston, and Mike's Pastries cannolis, nothing compares. Truly nothing compares. I have heard that maybe the mafia owns Cafe Reggio, so if I go missing after this, you know it's because I insulted the cannolis. Anyway, then we walked around a bit more and we went through the NYU International Houses, which is just like this block of houses that language students at NYU live in to immerse themselves in the language. And obviously this street is like reminiscent of a European fantasy that I'm sure we all have. And then we stopped in this thrift store called Cure, and I'd been there before and I like it, although it is pretty expensive, honestly. I'm recording. What's up? You want to say hi?
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I wanted to know if you wanted a package of seaweed.
Why? I also am just like an accidental minimalist. I only have like one pair of pants that I like, so I often try and shop for things, but honestly, I just end up being like, well, I don't like these pants as much as my one pair of pants that I have, so I'm not gonna buy this. So I almost bought this cute blue little like turtleneck thing, and then I was like, I already have one turtleneck, do I really need another? Thank you. Seaweed break. Ow. Bit me lip. We then walked around some more, and I was attacked by this evil sign. As you can see, oh my god. Stop being ugly. That one like really hit. I think about it a whole lot. And I just have decided to not stop being ugly. And then we got dinner at this place called Ivan Ramen, which was on Netflix's show Chef's Table. And it was fucking dank. Oh my god, these pork buns were so fucking good. Highly, highly recommend. Wow, wow.
In between the fluff and the sauce and the sauce. I mean the meat.
The meat. And the ramen was also yum.com/good. But honestly, I felt sick after it just because it was like really heavy, and I am a small boy. Then we walked once again, and this was kind of where I couldn't help but feel like Manhattan's just like this fantasy world. And I know that I use the word fantasy also a lot when I describe New York in kind of a good way, and I think it can be, but it just kind of feels like Disneyland to me, Manhattan does, because there are like great attractions and there are really cute streets and whatever, but also it's like super crowded and it's really expensive, and it sort of just feels like unreal in certain parts of town, mostly, you know, like the rich Manhattan parts of town. And like Disneyland, I feel like it's like fun once in a while, but I don't actually want to like live there. I mean, actually, I don't really like Disneyland at all, so I don't really want to go to Disneyland once in a while, but you know what I mean. And then we went to a park to talk about this some more. Hello, everyone. We're here right next to the dog park. I wonder if you can hear it. And I'm here with my favorite four-legged being, Carson.
Hello. Ruff.
We're here in Tompkins Square Park, which is in Manhattan. We're here in the, East Village? It is one of the only few times I've been in New York. No, what?
We're so delirious. We just ate so much tonkatsu ramen. I feel like I'm about to explode.
So we're here in Tompkins Square Park. It's probably the worst park that I've been to in New York so far. Have you ever lived in Manhattan?
No, I never have. No.
Would you like to?
I would like to someday. I prefer Brooklyn just for what you get, because
The bang for your buck?
I don't know that many people who live in Manhattan.
It's not like a good place to be young necessarily.
Yeah, it's a good place to be very young and in college. It's a good place to be very old and rich. It's not a good place to be
Medium
old.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels, I don't know, less charming to me too. Less homey. I don't know why. I don't love it. I think when I don't know. I hit it, Fergie. Manhattan is cool. I mean, Central Park is incredible. It's really cool.
So is Prospect. You know, it's not different. It's not as big, and it doesn't have as many things. But Prospect is, in some ways, in some areas, I think more beautiful than Central Park. So
take that, Manhattan. Brooklyn 2, Manhattan 0. It's a good place to like come for the day, and waltz around and, you know, spend a few dollars.
And you can do that living in Brooklyn or in Jersey. Let's talk about Jersey.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the new spot. I think I want to move to Jersey next. Isn't that
Actually?
really? Yeah, isn't that really controversial?
I don't know anything about New York, so I don't know if that's controversial. Well, I haven't been to New Jersey. Maybe that's where we should go next.
That's next. I think it's the Greenpoint ferry from Greenpoint to Manhattan. I don't think they'd shut down the.
I'm
caressed my face.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was in the middle of speak a sentence.
Hi, everyone.
That's what happened. And it just like forces you to.
Oh my god, he's still going. Relax.
I've got to get to sleep.
Bye. But yeah, I really hope you guys are well, and I'll see you guys in the next one.